The list of once labeled conspiracy theories being accepted as true by even legacy media is now growing. I'm Kristi Leigh, and I'll break that down in today's Daily Brief. Plus, learn about a plan to allow kids to seek euthanasia without parents' approval. More money to Ukraine is pledged while support is waning, and learn who is suing to see the January 6 footage that was never released to the public. Starting today with the latest admission from legacy media. Washington Post, lab leak most likely origin of COVID-19 pandemic, Energy Department now says. A 2021 declassified report was updated by the Director of Intelligence based on new information. But many don't want the media to memory hole how this theory was attacked and censored before. Michael Schellenberger is bringing the receipts in a Twitter thread. Remember when this was the Washington Post headline? Tom Cotton keeps repeating a coronavirus fringe theory that scientists have disputed. Oh, but now they've added a correction. The terms debunked and conspiracy theory have been removed from the original article. Oh, gee. Thanks. PolitiFact also had to archive a fact check that disparaged Tucker Carlson for having on a guest that had the whole lab leak theory in line with what the Energy Department now says. Michael Schellenberger says it's clear that the scientists who claimed in Lancet on February 19, 2020, we stand together to strongly condemn conspiracy theories suggesting that COVID-19 does not have a natural origin, were misrepresenting their unfounded opinion as a scientific fact. This lab leak likely revelation comes on the heels of the New York Times admitting the mask mandates likely did nothing, and other legacy media having to admit natural immunity is just as effective, if not more effective, than the jab, according to a new large study published in The Lancet. Giving the youth in euthanasia a whole new frightening meaning. There's been a push for minors to be able to keep surgeries and operations like abortions or gender transitions from parents. Now there's a plan in the works to allow kids to seek assisted suicide without telling their parents. WND reports assisted suicide and euthanasia have become rapidly accepted in Canada under the government's Medical Aid in Dying, or MAID program. But there are efforts to expand it even further. A new government report was recently presented to Parliament urging the inclusion of minors in the eligibility for physician-assisted death without parental consent. The report says many witnesses believed that age alone does not determine whether someone is capable of consenting to euthanasia. This extreme measure is supposed to be reserved for minors with life-threatening illnesses. But we've already seen Canada get liberal with their medically assisted death before, including quality of life reasons like depression or being poor. The report even recommends that minors be able to be euthanized even if their parents do not approve. Bankruptcies and delinquencies are up. Homeless tent cities are popping up everywhere, and the ability to fund Social Security is threatened. But the Biden administration wants to be a never-ending piggy bank for Ukraine. Joe Biden has pledged support for Ukraine pensions.
It's also going to help schools and hospitals open. It's going to allow pensions and social support to be paid to the Ukrainian people so they have something in their pocket.
And now here's Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen.
In the coming months, we expect to provide around $10 billion in additional economic support for Ukraine.
Yes, $10 billion more to Ukraine in the coming months. Breitbart reports Yellen called on the International Monetary Fund to also provide more money for Ukraine in her speech at the G20 Finance Summit in India. But support is waning. Polls show American support for funding and arming Ukraine continues to drop. Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy has kept his promise to release all the footage from January 6, but many are upset it's all going to Tucker Carlson. CEO of MyPillow, Mike Lindell, is contesting McCarthy's move and vowing to sue him, according to National File. He says it's a violation of the freedom of the press provision in the First Amendment and the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause.
Fox News will get to put out whatever they see fit. And we're over here and we're not putting out that information, but we don't even know what they're filtering, Brandon. What's important to our news station here, obviously there's a lot of things not important to Fox News, right? Remember everybody, you can't talk about elections on Fox News. You can't talk about machines. You can't talk about things that work instead of the vaccine. You can't talk about any of these things on Fox. So really, Fox is going to be the filter to the world and give them this stuff?
Congressman Andy Biggs echoes the sentiment.
Let's just get that 14,000 some odd hours out there and let the American people adjudicate what they think happened. I know what I think happened, but I really want to see the video. And I also think that there's some other stuff that needs to come out too, Emerald, and that is FBI and DOJ has to come clean on the number of their either their agents or their employed or contracted informants that were involved in this January 6th riot.
Today's takeaways. The U.S. Energy Department sounds an awful lot like those conspiracy theorists now, confirming the lab leak theory is the most likely origin of the pandemic. Canada ramps up its death cult with a plan to expand its euthanasia program to minors without parental consent. Even more money pledged to Ukraine. And Mike Lindell vows to sue Kevin McCarthy for not releasing the January 6 footage to the public. For more top headlines minus the propaganda parroting, go to AmericanFaith.com and subscribe to our daily newsletter. For American Faith, I'm Kristi Leigh.